Welcome to a exciting game, hopefully in the tournament, Line War tournament, Group D, I think it is, with Tomok, Archer, and Barracuda, and the Great Dane is also part of the group. But today it's Tomok against Archer, which I would say are probably the two favorites of this group. So very exciting to see which of these two will come out on top. In the previous tournament, Tomok came out of nowhere, and I think he ended second in the last tournament. So if you like, just last tournament he was someone who no one really knew, and then now he's a natural favorite in almost all these games. So very exciting to see how he matches up against Archer here for the next tournament, and a good while since we at least saw him playing tournament games. So yeah, it's going to be exciting to see if he's still like a top player, or kind of if the other top players figured him out by now, or because maybe they got a bit surprised by how well he played last time when nobody really knew him. So yeah, really exciting to see. And let's see, Tomok is blue and Archer is red, and it seems like Tomok will probably go for East Island, and Archer will probably go mid here. But already here Tomok has maybe a slight advantage, that you can never be certain that he won't start here, and he actually does. Okay, so yeah, and that's why you can never be certain. Let's see, and Archer starts in the middle. Okay, so I think both will be surprised by the other starting point. I would, at least, but maybe I'm not skilled enough to understand these starting points. I mean, this makes sense if Archer expects Tomok here, but also Archer will see straight away that Tomok is not there. But as you can see, he builds in this area because I assume he expects Tomok to be right around the corner, and these are his kind of capping infantry. Now let's see if Tomok goes for the big rush, and it certainly seems so. He has 3 tanks going on, power, and he already knows Archer is there. Archer, on the other hand, still doesn't see Tomok, so he must be pretty confused by now as to where he is. I would, at least. And it seems like he's still betting on Tomok being here on the east side, based on his arrows and his division of his army. Archer starts off with a town, and now he's building some extra barracks at the center, which is probably because he knows something is up here. Something doesn't seem right, and he also starts to bring the artillery to the west. And here comes the tanks. Now Tomok knows that Archer's, well, he already did actually, but he's betting that Archer started here, as would I. So that will save Archer a bit of time. I think Archer is now beginning to divert his army to to defend for these tanks, and now that he knows that Tomok is actually at the west. And Tomok keeps searching for Archer, but he must realize by now that he's just not there. So if Archer can keep these tanks away, he has actually a pretty good position to get a lot of eco and have his army close to a center point here, where he has a lot of backcapping potential. But let's see if he can handle these tanks. Tomok has already slowed down on the tank production. Which might be a good idea, might be a loss of potential momentum rush. Probably not the right one to ask about that, whether that's a good choice or not. It does seem like he get one barracks here. He does. But it will be tough for him to get anything more out of these tanks. He keeps making them though. So let's see. And I think Tomok kind of also betted that he could rush Archer down. So let's try to look at the economy, but I would assume he's behind. So 425 for Archer, 482 for Tomok. So once again, don't listen to me. Don't listen to what I have to say. But I guess that's also because Archer expected this to be his backcapping territory, so the few territories he actually did cap, Tomok has now capped. I think that was at least maybe 3 or 4 territories. And of course, taking a territory from your opponent is kind of double up in difference. You take away some income and you gain some yourself. So those are always the very valuable territories, and that's maybe what's doing the difference right now. Archer's trying to add a navy force, and he has a single tank on his own, starting to get some gas. Tomok is building the eco now that he probably realizes this is gonna be a longer game. It won't be over in a few minutes. But he does keep trying to get behind Archer's army. See if he can spot anything, get some picks. Let's see his lines here. He's moving them. Okay. Yeah, and now he just wants to be a huge annoyance and get those tanks in the back of Archer, and they can maybe cause some trouble. Because Archer will have to hunt them down or ignore them and risk a proxy base or sniping of structures, etc. So let's take a view from the sky, and I think it's I don't know who's off to the best start here. Oh, let's just quickly see this action. Tomok is going for it. He probably won't succeed and will go very slow in the mountains, especially in enemy territory. Tomok got a tank, he got the infantry, a chopper. So don't expect this to go well. And in the meantime, this is looking decent for Archer. He's got a decent army here. And he even got backup. But this will take time and attention from Archer, which is definitely a small advantage, at least for Tomok. Constantly keeping an eye on these can be a pain. And I might interpret too much, but these lines could also look that Archer is pretty busy at the moment, trying to both catch these and front line and back capping and so on, because these lines are very unstructured. Yeah, there you go. Now he cleaned them up, which is, it seems like such a relevant thing to do, but like keeping your lines neat can be important suddenly, because you can kind of mess with yourself if you have a lot of lines and you want to do some smart maneuver later in the game, and it just doesn't work because there's too many lines drawing the units in various directions. So suddenly you have to clean those first before you can make that quick movement, and it can just cost you time in some circumstances. This is a very interesting push from Archer. He's going straight for the factory, and I think he might succeed. Got a lot of infantry, and Tomok only got a few SAMs, a tank, and a single artillery. So as soon as this tank goes down, I think Archer will get this factory. There you go. That's the tank. And now Archer is starting to try to pick out some buildings with the tanks, I mean. And another sign of these two players being very busy at the moment. Like idle units is never a sign of, well, it could be, I guess, a sign of plenty of time and yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say. What I meant is, when you have idle units like this in a tense fight, it's probably because you haven't noticed and you just don't have the attention to and the overview to keep track of it in the midst of it. Archer sniping a town, very good play. And look at all this money that Archer actually has. So he doesn't even have time to spend his money. Tomok is using all of his money, 800 income, 600 income. So Tomok is actually pretty far ahead in income. So killing this town is really valuable for Archer. And you can start to see that Tomok is now gaining the momentum down here. And he's kind of cancelling out this sniping of a town with just building a new one straight away. Of course it still hurts, but they'll try to keep his economy healthy. Archer is building economy with all those savings he had in the bank. 1 town, 4 industries, so he's really going for it now. And it's also, is it only 1 actually infantry that's capping this, and 3 here, few more here, so it's going really slow for Archer, while Tomok has plenty of units out to cap. A lot of units down here. This is probably to gather a small army that he can move across later on. He also got the units going up here, so, and here as well. So Tomok is investing much more in that capping of territories, and right now it seems to pay off with the income. Tomok got 3 SAMs now. Archer is down to 2 helis. So Tomok will probably feel pretty safe here with his frontline army at least. Now Tomok building a bit more eco and some air. And Archer is completely vulnerable to air right now. So just starting to send some air in will also force Archer to switch up some of his production here, and of course that means that he will not be able to produce as many tanks and artillery for a while at least. Could also be interceptors for air defense. No, it's a heli. I'm just trying to see if he can get some picks down here. Maybe going for the eco. Let's see. He's at least scouting a bit. Let's see how much he can see. So even 3 helis cannot spot a town that is very close to them. Oh, there you go. So now Archer knows Tomok is getting some eco down there. But I think his focus might be on this push. This looks scary. He can't help with the helis anymore. There's so many SAMs now. So that's kind of out of the question. But I guess the infantry does clean that up pretty nicely, because they were able to close the gap between the artillery and themselves. So let's see, I'll bet my money that Tomok is going to make a shipyard somewhere on this coastline. Start to moving troops across. It's actually going double airport here. And he switched to an interceptor because he can't. Either he had to double his SAM production for a while so he can get multiple patches of SAMs around the map, or he can simply use the interceptors to cover a big area of the AA, at least on his own half of the map. And here is the shipyard as predicted. So I watched some other games on this map, and these guys have been so focused on the middle, while the other games I watched, people were already across on both sides, and tried to gain a foothold on each other's kind of half of the map. While here there's still no competition on the northern patches and the southern patches. But there will be soon, I think. Nazi will get this barrack. Now the question is just how many helis will he lose in the process. Will he even lose one? It doesn't look like it. Oh, that's pretty amazing. Tomok is going for AA. I guess he wants to put them up here. And this might turn into a stalemate. And that's why I think most people try to really win the game by going or invade the other players half of the island from either south or north, because it's really tough to just brute force your way through a choke like that. Let's see the economy, if Archer is still behind. 975. Wow. 1400 for Tomok. So he's far ahead. This looks really good for Tomok. And he actually got the territory down here. I'm not sure, but I think that's the tanks we looked on like from the start. And now here comes the proxy base. This is starting to look really good for Tomok, because now he also has the economy to invade both south and north. And Archer might not have the economy to both keep this a stalemate and defend. And it is going really, really slow for his expansion up here. Like this guy is still capping that territory. He's going for the town. I think this time around the interceptors will do a decent job. That's one. I think Tomok should actually stop having them on haste, because they don't get to fire as much when they're on haste, because they keep overtaking them. Tomok is going for some bombers as well now, which I think he accidentally sent down here. Probably not of much use. Archer does have a decent blob here, but I don't think Tomok is too worried about it. I think he feels pretty confident that he can keep this at bay. Now he even starts to snipe various buildings from the coast. Here comes another attempt at the town. A lot of helis this time. And Tomok just mistimed that and sent those planes at the wrong time. So he will lose planes and Archer will get this town. Really nice play by Archer here. And a bit unlucky for Tomok. Archer realizes that he needs to add some navy down south. He might even get this proxy base. Nope. Archer's building navy in the north. Probably because he scouted that. No? Maybe just assume it's there. Maybe it's for the gas. Tomok might just have enough here to kill this barracks right out the gate. And he's preparing invasions from the north or defense. I assume it's for invasion. I wonder if it will be commandos. 1600 for Tomok, 1100 almost for Archer, so this will be a really tough game for Archer to turn around. The helis are coming to the rescue. This hurts Archer's economy as well. Tomok can snipe these buildings. Might even be able to snipe this gas. Let's see if he can. Maybe just make sure that no planes are ever landing at this airport again. Another nice pick by Tomok. And the helis won't even be able to spot these guys. They can spot that. The buildings here. So that's not so good for Tomok. I will probably kill that in time before I get any SAMs up. Oh, and a fairly important unit here, building. Tomok got the nuke on its way. That will delete everything if it hits. And something tells me that this nuke might be a GG turning point. Because Archer is really feeling the heat right now, and a nuke on top of that. I'm not sure if he feels confident after that. Tomok also got more territory. Archer's still yet to cap all his territories. And I was wrong. Here, it seems like Tomok might be able to actually defend from these choppers. I wonder where this jet went. I don't know. Now we almost got a nuke ready. Rocket, I should say. And we want to see that rocket. I'm surprised that Tomok didn't make any transport boats. So maybe it wasn't to do make an invasion. He just want to go through here in the middle. Neither of them is really invading in any, like, this is from the beginning with the tank. So Archer's starting to try now. And this nuke seems like it's ready, but with the new patch for this tournament, it will cost Tomok 40 energy to launch it, and energy is not something that he has too much of right now. So I bet that as soon as we see 40 here, we'll also see a rocket flying across the lands. But even just his army is actually starting to chew through. 1700 versus 1200. Yeah, I think we'll see a GG anytime soon now. I wonder if he will even get to launch his nuke. He did add some refineries. He really wants to launch it, I think. And of course he also got a decent navy now, which cost a bit, and he got a bit of helis. I think this will probably cancel out Tomok's proxy base, maybe. But this will not cancel out Tomok's blob. Tomok's blob here at the mid. Yeah, he didn't even get to launch the rocket. Well played by both. Really fun to see how the whole match started. I think that it was a very alternative start from both, which kind of messed a bit with their normal ways to play, I think. So, but very fun to see. Taking some risk in those kind of games. yeah, Tomok was just building that eco right from the beginning, even though Archer uh, kind of got a better point of where he could get more territory. But this shows how important that initial phase is, because Tomok really got the momentum after that beginning. So yeah, really fun to play. Archer was sure that Tomok would be to the east, and Tomok knew that Archer would be to the east of him. So in that regard, it was easy to Tomok to kind of focus his army, while Archer was focusing in the wrong direction, and suddenly he realizes that Tomok is behind him, and already there he starts to lose territories and so on. So yeah, it can pay off to surprise your opponent sometimes. So yeah, thank you for a very interesting and fun game to Tomok and Archer. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. Thank you, and see you for the next match.